All right, it's 10 a.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We've all had a chance to look at the agenda. Any changes that would like to be made at this time?
None.
Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll restate the agenda items. We'll have public input on non-agenda items, consent agenda, which includes meeting minutes and checks, and another individual check. Chief's report. Then unfinished business, we'll have an update on new station administration projects, update on facility repairs, hiring and promotions, and outstanding equipment purchases. Under new business, we have the biennial Department of Health review. Then we'll move on to the chief's remarks, commissioner remarks, and then we will adjourn. And after that, please remember we'll have an executive session at the end of this meeting. All right. At this time, do we have any public input on non-agenda items? Seeing none, and thanking you for being here. We'll move on to the next item, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, chief's report.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. So it's been a busy but exciting first quarter for us. We've had several of our members engage in professional development. That's exciting. From urban search and rescue training to others doing driver engineer training, and even our officer development training and some seminars that our folks have gone to. Our folks are actively developing themselves and getting ready for the future, and that is good to see. The pieces are coming together for Station 31. The building plans are progressing on schedule. In fact, hot off the presses this morning, I will be able to show some elevations today. The replacement fire engine is ordered and in the works. The funds are in place, and hiring and promotions are also in the works. So things are coming together. The same is true for the administration and training site on San Carlos Island. We should see the pre-sale requirements fulfilled soon, and the closing will take place shortly after. Those requirements being the demolition of the Beach Seafood Building and clearing up all the outstanding fees on it for the code violations. The feasibility study is progressing. I'm happy to say we have very capable firms who have applied for our project. In the next few weeks, a committee will be evaluating those firms, and by the next board meeting, we should be able to bring you a recommendation of the committee. The district's been involved in several community events and activities this quarter. It was good to see the Shrimp Festival come back and, as always, lead the parade in a tradition. And while we gave it our best effort, our team wasn't able to hold on to the shrimp eating contest award, but we have something to strive for next year. It was good to see the new U.S. Coast Guard station open. Some of our members, Paul Russell, we have in the crowd today, served with the Coast Guard. It was good to see some of our members there, and proud to be a part of the ribbon cutting ceremony on that. The town has reinitiated their public safety committee. Our district representatives attend those meetings monthly and provide call data and trends, updates on current events, and input when it's appropriate. And then lastly, on my part, we've begun planning for our 75th anniversary celebration. That is coming together in the end of October. We're trying to make that a groundbreaking ceremony on Friday in the end of October, and then the next day be a family field day where we can set up live hands-on exhibits and smokehouse and things like that, and try and get some folks in the community out. They'll be able to see renderings of the building, but also be able to see what our folks do on a daily basis.
We'll do that on the Tops property, I'm assuming?
Yes, yeah, we're going to arrange for it to happen there. In administration, the application period for firefighter paramedics closed on March 25th. We ended up with 18 applicants, 14 of which signed up for interviews. The interviews were conducted on April 11th, and those who scored well enough in the interview were passed directly to me for chief interviews, so we could condense the process. So I do want to thank those who participated on that, which was Captain Joe DeVito, Engineer Alex Gonzalez, firefighters Josh Diepa, and Pietro Cracchiola. They did a great job, and they put together a quality list. So the district received reimbursements from FEMA for fire stations 32 and 33, as well as reimbursement for overtime from Hurricane Idalia. For Station 32, we received our deductible back in the amount of $165,000. For Fire Station 33, we received $31,900 in additional funds, and that was for outstanding damages. And then for Hurricane Idalia, our overtime reimbursement was $17,037. So altogether, the district recovered almost $214,000 in the last few months. And of course, as always, it's thanks to the diligent record keeping of Jane and her team. So the district continues to earn more than 5.5% interest on our invested reserve and surplus funds. The $9 million that we got from the state, that went into a separate SBA construction fund. And while that is an interest-bearing account, that interest is paid back to the state on a quarterly basis. So we do not retain that interest. All divisions and branches have been engaging in the budget process over the last few months. Our capital asset inventory was recently completed. In that process, we record the physical condition, estimate remaining life of the assets, and then if needed, we prepare quotes to stay updated, make sure we're saving the right amount of money. Special programs or one-time expenses are reviewed and discussed in the coming months. And I do want to give a special thank you to Assistant Chief Kraus for conducting that inventory check this year and creating asset tracking and operative IQ. He's been working to update that program to make it work better for station checks, truck checks, inventory, and things of that nature, supplies and whatnot. Historically, our Sage Fixed Asset Program is where we were tracking our assets and depreciation. The cost of this part of the Sage program has increased almost 34% over the past 3 years. So by converting the inventory tracking into operative IQ, the district will save about $4,700 a year in annual maintenance. We'll continue to use the SAGE program for depreciation purposes until it no longer functions. Because the district uses a straight line method of depreciation, it'll be easy to convert to Excel spreadsheet for that remaining piece if we need to do so. In operations, through the 91 working days of January through the end of March, the district has responded to 365 calls for service with an average response time of 6 minutes, 32 seconds. Station 32 was the sole and primary responder to 2/3 of those calls. Station 33 making up the remainder, indicating that most of the service demand is on the north side of the island, which we expected. In February, FMB members received extrication training with the Hearst brand rescue equipment awarded to us through the Firehouse grants. So the gentleman that comes down, his name's Tom Winkler, and he's been doing it for a long time. So he's got a lot of experience, and it's good to do trainings with him. February also saw the inaugural Blue Card Incident Command Instructor cadre receive their certifications. March began a 6-month development program with Dr. Pereira, and that'll culminate with FMB paramedics being credentialed to perform advanced drug-assisted intubations. That'll benefit the most critical patients that we encounter. Finally, 6 members of the district have received the newest PFAS-free turnout gear available on the market. 3 additional members have been fitted, and their gear is being made now. These 3 members were trying, part of the committees, and trying different brands, so that demo gear had to be returned. So we're getting them into the new gear. And then shortly after that, the rest of the gear is going to be ordered before the end of the year. We had talked about a month before last about bringing our air pack inventory up to 20. That's been done or is in the process. 3 new Scott air packs were ordered, and they were delivered. There were some final details being addressed before the packs are actually placed in service. So when they were specified, they were supposed to be specified to our current spec, and they came in without the personal alarms on them, where if somebody doesn't move, the alarm goes off. So they're at Scott Manufacturing now getting updated with that feature. For service delivery highlights, turnout times for the month of January through March average 1 minute and 25 seconds. Average response times for all units to all response type calls was 6 minutes and 32 seconds. We already talked about that. Finally, the total call volume for the month of January through March was 365 calls. Of those, 164 came in March, which is nearly double the call volume compared to January, and nearly a 50% increase from February, which is typical on our normal years, but what it highlights is the fact that we did see some influx for spring break and things like that this year, which is a good sign. Training for the months of January through March highlighted operations and single-family occupancies. March began a 6-month development plan that brings the advanced treatment option of drug-assisted intubations to the paramedics. All operation members completed extrication training at the new Station 31. It was dual-purpose training, providing both vehicle extrication training for members and creating an opportunity for experienced and confident members in that area to teach others. So it allowed our folks who had a lot of extrication training to help deliver it on the other days. February is also the month that we saw the inaugural cadre of Blue Card Incident Command. I talked about that. And since the first part of the Blue Card Command was to train the trainers, create Blue Card trainers, the rest of the department is now working on taking the program, and those trainers will help them go through the practical parts as they get further down the road. In January, Chief Arminger represented the district in Tallahassee during the legislative session while attending the Florida Association of Special Districts District Manager Program. Dr. Pereira, Chief Arminger, Captain Brown participated in the quarterly meeting of the Medical Care Council, where Dr. Pereira outlined her development plan for FMB's adoption of the advanced and new skills. Dr. Pereira, Chief Arminger, and Firefighter Cracchiolo also participated in the Lee County Medical Training and Protocol Subcommittee meetings. So these meetings are where they're bringing everybody together. Different departments have different medical directors, or making sure that they're all on the same page or know what each other's doing. Under life safety and prevention, the first 3 months of this year have been busy. We're seeing new projects come in while at the same time restarting our annual inspections for the life safety specialist. Some of the larger projects are starting to do site work and permitting, which will also mean more inspections for the life safety specialist out in the field. We're seeing some smaller special events begin setting up for weekends, and expecting the process to begin soon for the 4th of July parade and fireworks show. Just for revenue's sake, on the life safety side, we've seen quite a bit of revenue coming in there. Under permitting plan review, we've seen $51,000. Occupancy inspections brought in about $17,500. And for our outside districts in San Carlos Park, our plan review brought in $21,000. Captiva brought in $1,700, and South Trail produced about $14,600. For open development orders that we're seeing is Dolphin Watch Condos, which is a reconstruction. Estero Island Beach Club, which is a new structure proposing 75 units. The Neptune is a structure with proposing 140 units. Sandy Bottoms, which was formerly Tuckaway Cafe, they're looking to do on-site food trucks and parking. Lighthouse Resort is adding a walk-in resort-style pool and some site changes for the buildings. Carousel Beach is moving to phase 2. Vixens is coming up on San Carlos Boulevard. Bayside Grill Tiki is looking to replace their tiki bar behind the existing restaurant. And then the Outrigger property with their new mixed-use plans are coming in. For new construction, we've seen the Beach Bar come in, the Whale, Vixens and San Carlos Hotel, which is a new 5-story boutique hotel that's being proposed. Upcoming events, we have the Mother's Day 5K, and then the permits for July 4th and fireworks. And finally, for district anniversaries, for February, I'd like to recognize Engineer Andy Vila. Andy has 18 years. Engineer Tate Sturdivant also has 18 years. Firefighter Hermes Laser has 8 years. Firefighter Paul Montenegro has 7 years. Fire official Jennifer Campbell has 5 years. And life safety specialist Chris Cox has 4 years. And then for March, we have Craig, and Craig has been with us for 2 years. So that is my chief's report.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions on the chief's report?
Yeah, I have a question on, do we have any idea of the worth of all the contracts and permits that are out there? And also, do we have any idea the value of all the residential construction? And do we even know how many houses are going up? You know, I mean, to look forward in 2, 3, 4 years, what's the value of our island going to be? And tailor our budget and what we hope to do in the future.
Right. A lot of those things, those anticipated values, I would imagine is available through the town and county with systems similar to the way we do real-time values when we do our dashboard windshield surveys, and that data reports immediately. To say I have that off the top of my head, I don't have it, but it's certainly something we could get. And I don't know that the values on those would be determined until the building is built and appraised. So I'm sure they could estimate it, but I'm not sure exactly when that data hits the systems where we'd be able to recall it. But hopefully it's high.
It will.
I don't see how it can't be.
Yeah, so like we do every year, we'll have soft numbers in June and then our firm numbers July, early July.
So they're not taxable until completion, so.
Exactly, yes.
Are they gonna tax the property? Like, there's a lot of homes that are being torn down on the beach side, on
Yes.
the Gulf side.
Yeah.
So they'll just tax them on the
Land value.
land.
Typically, they're locking everything on January 1. So if they tear it down after January, you're probably not going to see it valued as land until the next January or the next tax season. So it
So they
runs
would
in
still,
reverse.
even though the building, if the building is there, even though it's uninhabitable,
Uninhabitable.
it still is taxed differently than the land.
It could be, because, for example, a lot of the condo associations that aren't occupied are only being taxed on the land right now. Until they, until they're seen as occupied, that's when the county is going to put the building part back on the rolls.
They paid a visit to our association.
Yeah, they were out on the island. We met with the tax collector, or I'm sorry, the property appraiser, and they were coming out to the town a couple weeks later. They already had a plan in place, and they spent 2 or 3 days out here looking at all the properties. So they openly admitted that they weren't boots on the ground after the storm. So their assessments were quick and rough when they valued everything after the storm. So this was their first look at actually trying to get more refined data on what we were actually dealing with.
Commissioner Lezak, any questions? I guess not.
I just saw it.
Just disappeared. All right, we'll move on to unfinished business. Item A, update on new station administration projects.
Yes. Thanks, sir. So I had floor plans that I got late last week, and then just this morning, I got elevations as well, so I'm going to bounce back and forth. But so far, where we are at is this station is hitting just shy of 13,000 feet. So now at this point, we kind of have all of our spaces laid out. Hopefully, we'll be able to fit that within our budget. We'll get with the contractor now, which is the reason we wanted the contractor on board first, so that we can get them involved and they can kind of help us identify areas where we might spend a lot of money doing this or that. But at this point, you're looking at the first floor of the building, and when you come into the lobby area here, there will be an open stairwell up to the second level. This will be an exercise room down on ground level. I wanted the exercise room on ground level for a couple reasons. It's the sound in the building, but also there's a door out to the side of the building, and this will be a parking lot. So if CrossFit type training is happening, you can do your rounds and you can go in and out, pull a sled or whatever we have outside. So these items will be at 8 feet above sea level, which means there will be storm panels on these openings. So this whole group is made to be dry flood proof, using the panels the way we do on our lobbies at the other stations. There will be a chair lift to the second floor. Rather than putting an elevator in, we're putting a platform lift to save money. And then a bathroom on the ground floor for visitors and the crews downstairs. The circle here represents a fire pole, and then you'll come out, you'll have a stairwell here with an intermediate landing that'll bring you down to the stairs into the bay, or this stairwell will take you to the exterior of the building, and a little corridor here because we have to egress out of the building without coming under any overhangs or through any parking areas. So that is one means of egress, and then on the back of the building, we're drawing in an exterior stairwell for our secondary means of egress, and this will be an open air type stairwell that will allow some very basic training like throwing ladders and climbing stairs. The stairwell also will serve as to get us part of the flat roof, which will take us to our mechanicals up on the top of the second floor. On this side, the apparatus bay will be at 8 feet, which is approximately 3 to 3.5 feet above the road. The apparatus base will sit back approximately 100 feet from the road, which will make the driveways manageable. It'll probably feel a lot like Station 3. But then you will climb up these stairs to get to this area, and this is 13-foot 13 foot being our base flood elevation. And the reason for elevating this area is to put all of our high dollar equipment up here, like our breathing air system, our washing machine for our fire gear, and our electrical room and bunker gear storage. Down here at the 8-foot level, there'll be a couple rooms down on level. This will have a sink and a washing machine and dryer for our rags and towels, and then a workshop here for equipment. These 2 rooms will be dry flood proof with a single set of barriers here. So all of these areas should be protected for at least 13 feet, probably about 13.5 feet of water. Under building parking, there's 6 spots underneath. There'll be additional parking along the back with public parking up here, and handicap parking will be here close to the entrance. This is just highlighting certain areas, the apparatus bay. This is 3 full-depth bays. It's 80 feet deep. 3 full drive-through bays at this point. We had room here to put a little cove where if we do a UTV, we can move it out of the way of the drive-through bays. We highlighted on the mechanical rooms over here, bunker gear storage, laundry and workshop, and then the weight room and the stairwells, access to the bays. On the second floor, this block shows the front area with a dining room table. This balcony will be under roof. This balcony will not, so that we can pipe a gas grill up there. The kitchen area will have three refrigerators, 3 lockers, and have a peninsula style here with a range in the middle, an island in the kitchen, and then pantry to kind of act like a bookend, and then some shelf cabinets and countertops over here. The day room will be in this area with viewing to the television on this wall. When you come up the stairs and you come in, you have storage here, your chair lift. The report writing room will have a few glass walls to kind of give it a little more, dress it up a bit when the public comes into this area. In this area, the battalion chief and the company officer will have their desks with a storage closet for equipment and ancillary stuff. And And then after that, there will be a door here to close this off and make this like a private area in the back. It will start with laundry, and then the battalion chief and the company officer will each have a room with a bathroom. There'll be 2 more bathrooms here, one being ADA compliant, and then 6 more bunk rooms. So the station will be set to house 8 people in all.
What's the access from the one side to the bunk rooms from the kitchen, for example?
Straight down the hall.
Okay, so that's over top of the bay, that empty space between those two?
Well, no, the bay is off to the side. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to get the living area down next to the bays rather than on top of it, because it cuts the distance to the trucks almost in half. So we're next to the bays in these areas. You can see the bay here.
Yeah,
So the
that's-
living area is all off to the side. So when the front stairwell is an open stairwell, so it couldn't be for egress. So that's why we have the intermediate stairwell. So where you come out here to the bays, you can either go to the fire pole or you can take the steps, and there'll be an intermediate landing that comes out a door and then the rest of the way down into the bay. Or this corridor will take you out to the back for exit. So with all the bedrooms are all grouped around this access point to the garage area.
Okay.
And this is just illustrating the stairs that we talked about, how they come down, landing out to the garage, and then a corridor that takes you out. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the mezzanine area. So before we get to facility repairs, if I can, I have them. Not sure how well you can see these, but these are elevations of what the building is beginning to look like. So this is the front entrance. You're looking at it, you're standing on Estero Boulevard now, looking at the front of the station. And you have your front entrance and then higher windows here in the weight room. And the purpose for those is that we shouldn't need panels because we've got them up high enough. This is the balcony off of the dining room. This is the open air balcony where the grill can go. And this will be mansard roof with standing seam metal, very similar to Station 3's design. And then over here is the mechanical rooms, and those will be under air as well. This view is looking at it from Gulf Shore, or Gulf Beach where the pool is. So you're looking at it from that side. This is the front. This is the rear of the building showing the exterior stairwell. This exterior stairwell, because we needed access to the roof, it does serve 2 purposes. This may be high enough to get us some credit with ISO when we do training. Stop me at any time with any questions. So this is the other 2 elevations. We're looking at the back of the building now from the middle of the property. We have our 3 rear doors. This is the stairwell out, and then the exterior stairwell that takes us up to the roof area. And then this is from Tropical Shores Way with the old town hall. You'd be looking at this side of the building with under-building parking in this area. This is the weight room that bumps out closer to the edge of the building. And then this is just a patio underneath. The stairwell will probably be dressed in some kind of cladding to isolate it, make it look nicer. But those are the elevations so far. And now we will get with the construction managers and continue with the architects and the structural folks and start putting the pieces together. We just got these, so what we'll do is put these out to the shifts. We will collect some feedback on the layout and see where we need to go, what doesn't work, what does, and make the tweaks we need to make.
Chief, how many apparatus can we get in the bays?
Well, with it being 80 feet deep, you could do a ladder truck, you could do an engine with an ambulance behind it, you could do an ambulance and an ambulance backwards. You can have an engine, an ambulance, a battalion chief, so we have a lot of options with it being drive-through and with it being 80 feet deep. So 80 feet deep will allow, if you can visualize it, 2 fire engines probably back-to-back, very tight, but back-to-back. So
And how is,
Station 3 is, I believe, about 80 feet deep.
Is it?
If that gives you a visual, it'd be very similar in size to the Station 3 bay with that little cove for a UTV to park in,
so it's 80 feet
front to
Going-
back,
Door to door?
door to door.
door to door?
Door to door.
And then how big?
It's
is
about
it?
64 feet across, three 14-foot wide doors. I expanded the space between the doors so that we have, because they always get real crowded with mechanicals and door openers and chains. And we also needed wall space to be able to put the hydrostatic vents into. So, because this is 8 feet high, it will be made for water to come and go like the other 2 stations.
Does this elevation footprint maximize the property as far as setbacks and available space?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pushing right up to the 15 feet on the Gulf Beach side. And with the drive around the side of the building on Tropical Shores, we're using every bit of it. As a matter of fact, on Tropical Shores in Estero, you'll probably see about a 2-foot stem wall and then the swale.
All right.
You know, because that stem wall will be the edge of the parking as we're driving around the building.
Now, the panels that you put up for flood, how high are they off the ground?
They'll be about 5 foot, very similar to what we do at the other stations. There'll be about 5 foot of panels to get us to the 13-foot elevation.
Is that one panel or are they separate?
They're stackable.
Stackable.
Yeah, yeah. So what we now, they almost look like aluminum I-beams, and they have rubber seals, and the clamps push them, the clamps pull them to the wall, and then there's clamps that push them down and squeeze them together. They work pretty well during the storm.
What's the total square feet?
We're just under 13,000 right now.
And what's the current cost?
I don't know, but we're thinking current cost is probably going to be $750, somewhere between $700 and $800 a foot. It's not cheap. It's structurally, there's a lot of concrete and steel in it, but there's not the way it's designed, it's not a complicated structure. So hopefully that will help keep the cost down.
What's the wind rating?
200. 200. We're taking it up to 200 with the level E rating. It's the highest rating there is for government critical infrastructure.
I'm sure that's going to be enough.
What that does is, what critical E does is it makes it limits how many things you can do with the exterior envelope, because these products have to be tested, and typically they're all tested only to level D. So when you start getting into level E, you know, when you attach your materials for your exterior openings, like your overhead doors and things like that, you have to look for materials that have been tested to these higher wind ratings and impact ratings.
And what's the elevation to the base of the living quarters? Is that the 13 feet or is that higher?
No, the base of the living quarters will be 20 to probably 21 feet. Yeah, about 13 feet above the apparatus bed.
And our mechanical rooms, we can't protect them higher than 13 feet?
Most of the mechanical rooms will be at 21 feet.
Oh, they'll be, okay.
Yeah, the only room that will have the transfer switch and the electrical, that'll be at 13. That'll be up on the wall. So the bottom of that equipment will probably fall at 16 feet above.
But most everything else is up.
Yeah.
During a storm, is this still usable? In other words, could people still inhabit that or work there? Or is that not part of the plan?
We probably still would evacuate, because here's the problem. If they're there, their vehicles are there, the trucks are there, and the bays are made to flood. So, yeah, we would probably still evacuate. What it does is it lets us get back quicker and get the building in service. And the generator will be elevated to about 20 feet.
Just a thought, is there any way we can do, say for a high water prediction, where you could open the bay doors front to back and have the building secure to get a flow through the building instead of?
The building will have flow through because of the hydrostatic venting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already made.
It's already designed.
Yeah, and that's how the other 2 stations work, and they work well. Water came in, water went out. Yeah,
Over
everything
loss-
below 13 feet is either dry flood proof with the panels or it's flow through. So the apparatus bay will be flow through. And everything else will be protected by the storm panels.
Do we have access from the rear of this to Bay Beach Lane, the driveway?
Bay
Or not-
Beach Lane?
Not Bay Beach Lane.
It's a long driveway, Ron.
Yeah,
You threw me for a minute.
I was like,
the street on this side, next to Bayo.
Gulf Beach. No, this doesn't have access to Gulf Beach. The drive-in, you'll come in on Tropical Shores in the back, and you'll either come in and go into the back of the building, and there'll be parking lot along the back line, or you'll turn and go down the side of the building and park personal vehicles under the building, and public will go up and park in front.
Because
It'll
I've heard
wrap
some-
around, and then they'll leave out on the front apparatus bay.
There's rumors been going around for a while that the town wants to, well, if they want to, they can, abandon the street.
They've openly said that when they were considering options for this property, of closing it. Even if they closed Gulf Beach, I think it would have been further back because we're still butting up to the residential houses.
Yeah.
But because of the elevations, because, we're coming up to 8 feet in the back, it's basically going to be a wall across the Gulf Beach side. So,
So when we move in?
in June. Yeah.
Great.
So we're looking for groundbreaking October. We should be in permitting by then and, I'm hoping to get out of the ground by the end of the year.
and our completion date is no later than?
12 to 14 months later. Our drop dead date is March of '26. I'm
Right.
hoping the end of '25. What I'm pushing for.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Excited for the troops to see it? and,
Yes.
Yeah, we'll
Get some feedback.
get these out by the end of the day.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Next, facility repairs. Back to you, sir.
Back to me. Okay, so just an update on where we're at with making the facility repairs. Overhead door, started putting the doors in at Station 3 across the back yesterday. I don't know what their timeline is or how much they got done yesterday, but within the week or so, those should all be installed. Next to the elevators at headquarters in Station 32, they have been pushed back. They are rescheduled to get started on June 17th. So that'll be coming next few months. Chief Kraus has been pushing on them, and they keep saying that public safety's priority. But they're busy, I guess.
They're busy.
The roof at Station 32, that's scheduled for May 13th, with about a week to complete. And that's they're replacing the upper roof and over the elevator area. That roof is being reinforced, and with mitigation efforts, they're going to be putting additional screws in the metal pans. They're going to be using a fully adhered roof system where they'll put the ISO board down that puts the pitch in the roof, and then it has a hard board over it. That all gets screwed to the pans, and then they'll be doing a fully adhered poly roof instead of just along the seams like they typically do. So those three items are enhancements to the code compliant package. Transfer switches, I'm happy to say, we had ordered 3 transfer switches. They are installed in both stations. Like you guys are having with the condos, it was a day of downtime with no power to the buildings. But they got them in. 32 was very complicated because of how tight it is. But both buildings are up and running. The switches have to be programmed after they're installed, so Cummins came out and did that, and those stations are both back online fully. Those generators run once a week under load to test the transfer of the switch and the generator itself. The transfer switch was installed at headquarters. That had arrived. Our generator there has been pushed back, and it's not set to ship until July 17th. So B&I Electric is going to come. We're going to get the fuel out of the current generator and get it taken out of there, get ready for the new one, make sure all the conduits fall in the right places. And I expect sometime around late July, early August, that system to get installed. And that is where we're at with the facilities. Any questions?
Questions, comments?
This is a little off the subject concerning our facilities. Who's our mitigation company? Do we have the same people as last time, or did we
It's
change
me.
vendor?
Trevor was handling it. After we finished with Rapid, Trevor was managing that, so we're handling it internally. Now, we did have FMB Builders that was contracted to put headquarters together, but as far as these individual projects, we're getting the
No.
bids directly.
Well, we have another giant storm, and everything's a mess.
Yes.
Who's going to come in and did what Rapid did?
Well,
I can.
yes,
We'll likely put that out to bid,
yeah,
After the fact or before?
before.
yeah.
Yeah, I would think we would want a standing contract.
We might butt up against this hurricane season. And it'd probably be more of an informal process, so we have a little bit more control over things.
The good thing is we have a lot of experience on who not to use,
Yeah, that's
Well,
for sure.
yeah.
What to look for.
what to look for. Yes. So I'm not sure if the commissioners can be the selection committee, but you guys would probably be the best ones to do it with all your experience.
Anything else?
Any other questions on the facilities?
All right, onward to hiring promotions.
Thank you. Okay, so for hiring and promotions, for firefighters, we talked about this a little bit, but we had 14 agree to the interviews, 12 actually showed up. We've made 4 conditional offers, which is the process that we have to do before we put them through the backgrounds. So we have 3 hires immediately once we get through all the background checks.
So you're hiring 4 at this time?
We're gonna hire 3 right away. We're one short on each shift right now.
Okay.
So. Again, we already talked about it, but I do want to thank the committee for that. And Chief Armiger for putting it all together, and of course Jane for administering the process. On the lieutenant promotional test, we had 3 eligible candidates. Of those 3, 2 applied. But for personal reasons and family matters, both of those applicants have withdrawn. So our lieutenant process at this time is on hold, and we'll be readdressing that soon. On the battalion chief promotional test, we had 4 eligible candidates for that. We had 3 applications that came in. Of those 3, we had 1 withdrawal. We have 2 applicants, and they'll begin their testing on May 13th, and it's a 2-day process with the written on the 13th and assessments happening on the 14th. We have 1 battalion chief opening, and that battalion chief promotion will leave the company officer rank 1 position short until we can create that lieutenant's list.
How long is the list good for once it's established?
List is good for 2 years.
Okay.
The only test that has been given since I've been here in 7 years that's had more candidates than positions was the engineer list. The rest of the promotional testing has had just enough people or even not enough people for openings that we've had.
Is, on the 14th, that's an assessment center type process?
Yes.
Who does that?
We have an outside firm called Fire Act, and they're putting it together and working with Chief Armiger on the different components. So we've used them in the past for other promotional exams. Any questions on that? And then just a look forward. So with the new station, somewhere around June of next year, we'll be looking to promote the other 3 lieutenants. So that will we're looking at needing 4 lieutenants as we ramp up for the new station. 1 to replace the battalion chief. Hopefully the internal candidate passes and promotes. So that's 1, and then 3 to bring us up to staffing levels for the station. We will have to promote 1 driver engineer. Right now we have 8 drivers for 6 positions. So we're in good shape there. And then initially for the new station, we'll need to hire 9. We'll get them up and running, and then to get back to full staffing of 16 per shift, we would have to hire 3 more. So it's going to be a busy year. We're looking at June so we can get people ramped up, get training and orientations done, and get ready for an opening at the end of the year next year.
A lot of opportunities coming. Sure.
Yes. Yes, there is.
Chief, with all the newness coming with the station, and obviously basically a whole shift, are we going to give our folks who are established and have seniority opportunities to pick stations again once we have that station open?
Hadn't really thought about it, honestly, but I think it'd be a good idea.
I think it'd be a nice benefit if we had some folks who want
Yeah.
to be at the crown jewel of the district's stations, that
Absolutely.
they'd have that opportunity.
Yep.
With all the hiring that we're anticipating, are we going to have an HR director? Or are
Yes.
you all going to keep doing everything?
We have Jane. No.
Thank you.
I might
Ju-
do Perry one.
June and July will give us an idea of where we're going to be at.
This June and July.
This June and July, yes. Yep. We were down 40% in June and July will tell us how we're growing out of that situation. So if the property appraiser holds true and the January 1 was the values that they're looking at, then all the driving around they did a few months ago won't play a part until the following year. If they're, putting units back on the books and charging for the units and not just the land, we could see, some growth out of the hole we're in. If they hold to January 1 and all the condos and units that were listed as out of service remain out of service, then we're probably not going to see a whole lot of difference from what we have the current year, what we're currently working under. And as you know, that's about a $5.5 million deficit over where we were before the storm. Any questions on hiring and promotions?
All right, next, outstanding equipment purchases.
Yeah, so for outstanding equipment, we talked about the 6 sets of gear that have arrived and are in service. We did have 1 set that came in radically too big, too long for the gentleman, so it's being modified. But that allowed us to, being a new manufacturer and a new person measuring everybody, let us know where we're at. So we've got 3 more people that are going in their gear. If it comes in and it's sized right and we're not hearing of any issues with the first 5, 6 sets that are in, then we're going to move forward with putting everybody in, ordering it all, getting it done. Also, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but the 3 new air packs that are ordered. So for our inventory right now, we will have 20 air packs, and we have a maximum daily staffing of 12 personnel, so we have a decent reserve if we have any of those that are going out for repairs or whatnot. We have also applied for an AFG grant. This is a federal grant, Assistance to Firefighters Grant. And if that comes through, this is the 2nd year. If you remember, we applied last year when we did Blue Card. We got Blue Card, we did not get the air packs. This year, personal protective equipment, which the air packs fall under, is the high priority. So hopefully this comes through, and if it does, it will be 27 air packs, 54 bottles, and then 52 masks, which will be 48 for shift personnel and then admin. So it'll be a full swap out of.
What's the approximate dollar amount for that type of inventory?
Off the top of my head, I want to say it was 320,000, give or take. Yeah, 320,000. Otherwise, this is a capital item, and it's slated to be done right now. The current budget shows it in '29, but one of our initiatives working on for the upcoming budget is to possibly move it up by a year or 2. So. Any questions on equipment? Okay, thank you.
That's good, thanks.
All right, keep bouncing back and forth here. We have new business, the biennial Department of Health review. I'm assuming it's you, Chief.
So, no, so first off, I want to thank everybody. So this review is basically a review of the whole agency. This is a new representative this year, but when she came in, her inspections include looking at personnel records, and then spot checking, so she would grab some of the members and say, do you have your EMT or paramedic card? Do you have your ALS or BLS card on you? She would spot check the service records, our vehicle inspection records, our EMS equipment inspections and renewals, if they need to be updated or renewed. Do we have the right supplies on our units? And are the supplies actually there? So I'm happy to say that it was almost a perfect inspection with the exception of needing to mount a small fire extinguisher in the patient compartment areas on the 2 new ambulances. So other than that, it was spotless. And, I do want to say thank you for all of our personnel who keep the units and equipment clean, stocked, and ready to go. And then thank you to Chief Kraus for his diligence in maintaining the record keeping.
Not to get nitpicky, but are those mounted units, is that a factory standard that should be adhered to, or? is it
It's
regional?
just part of the equipment.
Okay.
We've mounted all the equipment inside the compartments and just missed it, so we'll get them installed.
Just curious.
That'd be it. Yeah, it's not on the factory for that one. All right.
Questions?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
that's
Fire
what I
chief
have.
remarks.
Not too much. It's exciting to see, all kinds of things happening. It's been a slow process to see things see things happen. But we've changed direction since the storm and, from the land coming together on Main Street and, the fire station taking shape, seeing the hiring tests, the hiring exams and the hiring test and the promotional exams. I'm just glad to see everything coming together, and our folks are serving the community well. And that's it. The only other thing I'll say is on Friday this week, the fire department will be honored by the Chamber for 2022 Outstanding Award, Outstanding Service Award. So we'll be here at Diamond Head on behalf of the district, and looking forward to that. So,
Great.
that's all I got.
Thanks, Chief. All right, on to commissioner remarks. Commissioner Lezak, do you want to start?
I just want to say great meeting. I'm excited to see the elevations when I can get in front of the pictures of them, because obviously I'm looking at all the commissioners, I can't see the screen. So good job on that. It's exciting that we're finally moving forward. I'm looking forward to the 70th anniversary birthday celebrations. Happy to help with those if necessary. And we're honored to have the fire department be receiving one of the chamber awards. So speaking as the chamber president, I'm excited to see you there on Friday accepting, and hope that some more of the department team will be able to join us for that. And it's a great recognition. It's well deserved, because the entire department worked tirelessly in the days and weeks that followed that storm, and I think recognition is incredibly important as we move forward with our rebuilding of our community. So just a great meeting. So thank you so much, and thank you for putting up with me in the car like this.
Thank you. All right, Rod.
Yeah, everything Jackie said. We've come a long way, and it's good to see that we're moving forward, and we're spending, we've received a lot of money, and they want to know what we're going to do with it. And it's nice to see what we're doing with it. And we just don't need another storm this year. That's
right.
Come on, leave us alone.
Right, for many reasons.
Thank you to the staff and the crews for everything you do. April, I have in April, some anniversaries. 50 years ago in April, the day after I graduated with a degree in marketing, I was being yelled at by maniacs from the Dayton Fire Department. 40 years ago in April, I was assigned to the captain of Ladder 13. 13 years ago, I retired. 11 years ago, I moved here. And today is my son Brian's first day as captain of Ladder 13. So April's a good month.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on all of those.
Commissioner Nickel.
Well, I just want to say, thanks for a great meeting, and it's very exciting to see as the future begins to unfold before us. We've spent an awful lot of time looking backwards, trying to figure out what the heck happened here. And now it's kind of exciting to begin to look forward as to how we're going to progress from the muck of the mess that Ian left us, and it's very rewarding to see it starting to come together. It's like looking down the tunnel and seeing the light down there and knowing it's not a train.
Yes.
So that's really all I have to say. It was a good meeting. It was very informative, and it was helpful, I think, to bring us up to speed on all these many things. So thank you.
Commissioner Wood.
Yeah, I appreciate all the information that you provided. It's been very helpful, and I like seeing that new station, or the new station, and, we've seen several iterations over the
Yes.
years, and, we started that, what,
2019.
yeah, I was gonna say about 5
5
years
years
ago.
ago.
And we were hoping to be able to start that right away. Actually, the hurricane may have actually helped us to some degree, because the property has escalated. I don't know if that caused that directly, but, and FEMA has helped, and, we're now actually it's gonna come to fruition. And so that's the silver lining in that horrible cloud.
Yes.
So anyway, thanks for all the work that you're doing and have done. And so we're looking forward to seeing that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I don't have a whole lot more to add, other than thanks again for a great meeting, all the hard work that goes behind putting all this information together. The chief for his marathon of updates, which is lengthy today. Seemed like every item came back to you, which I appreciate your dedication and work and to get it put together. Great job by the crews as always. Seen them on a couple calls lately and had the opportunity to observe some trainings and those type of things. And it never falls short. Their dedication to their job is amazing. And I look forward to seeing a lot of those folks continue to develop and promote. And just like Ron's son, first day as captain, I'd love to see, a firefighter from 2 years ago being a lieutenant here in the near future, and a new station on a new truck with his own crew that, he can pass on his knowledge and experience to, or her. Either way. And beyond that, I have nothing unless somebody else would like to add a last minute. All right, with that, meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.